The distress call. The vast emptiness of space stretched around the Valari exploration vessel Celestial Harmony as it drifted through an unmapped sector. Captain Celine Vell stood on the bridge, her luminescent skin casting a soft blue glow as she studied the star charts. Like all Valari, she stood barely 5 feet tall, with delicate features and large eyes adapted to the gentle light of their homeworld. "All systems functioning optimally, Captain," reported Navigator Tylan, his long fingers gliding over the control panel. "We should reach the next survey point in approximately 10 hours. Celine nodded, satisfaction rippling through her bioluminescent markings. The Valari Collective had been exploring this region for scientific purposes, cataloging new worlds and stellar phenomena. As a species that had evolved without natural predators on their low-gravity homeworld, the Valari had developed advanced technology through cooperation rather than competition. "Captain," called sensor specialist Nira from her station, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings at bearing 347.5. Celine turned, curious. "Source? Unknown. The pattern doesn't match anything in our database," Nira replied, her markings pulsing with concern. Before Celine could respond, the ship's proximity alarms blared to life. The main view screen shifted to show 3 angular vessels emerging from behind a nearby asteroid field, their hulls dark and bristling with weapon emplacements. "Unidentified vessels approaching rapidly," Nira reported, her voice rising. "They're powering weapon systems." Celine felt both her hearts accelerate. "Raise. Shields, prepare for evasive maneuvers." The bridge crew rushed to comply, but fear slowed their movements. Evolution on a peaceful world had given the Valari heightened intelligence and empathic abilities, but their bodies produced overwhelming stress hormones at the first sign of danger, a biological response meant to encourage flight rather than fight. The first impact rocked the Celestial Harmony, sending several crew members tumbling from their stations. Emergency lighting flashed on as primary systems fluctuated. "Shields at 65%, reported the defense systems operator. "They're using focused particle weapons, attempting to disable rather than destroy us." A cold realization settled in Celine's mind. "Kryvax raiders," she whispered. The Kryvax were notorious throughout charted space, a predatory species that survived by raiding and salvaging other vessels. Their reputation for brutality was matched only by their efficiency. Another blast struck the Celestial Harmony, more powerful than the first. Consoles exploded in cascades of sparks as the ship shuddered violently. "Direct hit to our propulsion systems," called the engineering officer. "We've lost main engines." "Communications Officer Vinell," Celine ordered. "Send a distress signal." "To Valari Command." Vinell turned, fear evident in his wide eyes. "Long-range communications are damaged, Captain. I can broadcast an emergency beacon, but I can't target it specifically to our home sector." "Send it anyway, broadest spectrum possible," Celine commanded, "to anyone who can hear." As Vinell prepared the transmission, Celine activated the ship-wide communication system. "All personnel, this is Captain Vale. We are under attack by Kryvax raiders. All non-essential crew proceed to emergency shelters. Security teams to defensive positions." On the view screen, smaller craft detached from the Kryvax vessels, heading directly for their hull. "Boarding parties," muttered Navigator Talon, his skin paling to a ghostly white. "Distress signal ready, Captain," Vinell announced. "Transmit." Vinell's fingers trembled as he entered the final sequence. In his haste and fear, he failed to notice that the signal's directional parameters had shifted, sending the message away from Valari space toward a sector marked as restricted in their navigational database. The distress call raced through the void at faster than light speeds, carrying a simple message. "Valari exploration vessel Celestial Harmony under attack by Kryvax raiders. Coordinates 573.892.441. Boarding in progress. Any assistance appreciated. Please hurry." The signal passed through empty systems and beyond the normal patrol routes of allied species. It continued into a region most spacefaring races deliberately avoided, a zone containing a yellow star, with a third planet classified in the Galactic Registry as an extreme death world. Captain Alexis Chen stood on the bridge of the UNSS Relentless, a human battlecruiser patrolling the outer edge of Earth-controlled space. At 6 feet tall with broad shoulders and a commanding presence, she exemplified the physical resilience that had evolved on humanity's high-gravity, predator-filled homeworld. "Status report," Chen ordered, eyes scanning the tactical display. "All systems nominal, Captain," replied Lieutenant Commander Marcus Wright, her executive officer. "Long-range patrols reporting nothing unusual, just another quiet day on the frontier." Chen nodded. Humanity had been exploring space for less than 2 centuries, relative newcomers to an interstellar community that remained largely wary of them. The physiological adaptations that had allowed humans to survive on Earth, dense muscle tissue, robust endurance, heightened aggression response, made them anomalies among the galaxy's predominant species. "Captain," called communications specialist Rodriguez, "we're receiving a distress signal on an unusual frequency." Chen turned, one eyebrow raised. "Source?" "Unknown, sir. It's not using any Earth or allied protocols," Rodriguez replied, adjusting her headset. "The translation matrix is processing it now." "Put it through," Chen ordered. The bridge speakers crackled to life, the ship's AI translating the alien language. "Valari exploration vessel Celestial Harmony under attack by Kryvax raiders. Coordinates 573.8892.441. Boarding in progress. Any assistance appreciated. Please hurry." A moment of silence fell across the bridge. "Valari?" Chen asked. "Do we have any information on them?" Lieutenant Patel at the data station quickly accessed the xenobiological database. "Limited information, Captain. Peaceful, scientifically advanced species from a low-gravity world. No formal diplomatic relations with Earth, though we've had a few non-hostile encounters." "And the Kryvax?" "Predatory raiders, Captain," Patel continued, "known for ship seizures, salvage operations, and trafficking. Considered hostile by most civilized species." Chen nodded, processing the information. "Distance to those coordinates?" "Approximately 4 hours at maximum FTL, Captain," reported Navigator Kemp. "The location is outside our designated patrol zone but within operational range." Chen paced the bridge, considering her options. There were no treaties obligating Earth to assist the Valari. No political points to be gained by intervention. Moreover, humanity's reputation as aggressive Deathworlders had created diplomatic complications in the past when they had taken unilateral action. "Captain," Wright said quietly, "protocol suggests we should consult with Fleet Command before engaging with a situation involving 2 non-allied species." Chen stopped pacing, her expression hardening. "By the time we get approval from Command, it'll be too late for those people." She turned to address the bridge crew. "Throughout history, humanity has defined itself by how we respond when we see others in danger. Yes, we're stronger than most species out here. Yes, we evolved as predators, but we also evolved empathy and a moral compass." Chen moved to the central command station. "Alert the rest of the battle group. Set course for those coordinates, maximum speed. All departments prepare for potential combat and first contact scenarios." Throughout the massive warship, over 600 crew members sprang into action. In the armory, Marine squads checked their gear and loaded weapons. In medical, doctors prepared for possible alien casualties. In engineering, technicians ran diagnostics on shields and weapon systems. Commander Soryu Tanaka stood in the center of the Marine staging area, observing his squad's preparations. At 5'10" with a scar running down his left cheek, he presented an intimidating figure even without the powered combat armor his team was donning. "Listen up," he called, and the busy room fell silent. "We're responding to an alien distress call. We don't know much about these Valari except that they're peaceful and physically fragile compared to humans. We also don't know much about these Kryvax raiders except that they're boarding the Valari ship." He paced in front of his squad, making eye contact with each Marine. "That means we need to be ready for anything. Full combat exoskeletons, standard loadouts, and remember your first contact protocols. We might be rescuing people who've never seen a human before." Corporal Santos raised her hand. "Environmental concerns, Commander?" "Good question. Suit up with full environmental seals," Tanaka replied. The Valari homeworld has lower gravity and higher oxygen content than Earth. They may not tolerate our atmosphere well, especially if injured. Back on the bridge, Captain Chen studied the tactical display as the Relentless and its accompanying vessels. The destroyers Intrepid and Valkyrie and the frigates Swift and Peregrine accelerated to dangerous velocities. The human battle group pushed its massive engines beyond recommended limits, racing toward coordinates where a peaceful species faced destruction. They had no obligation to intervene, no political reason to risk their lives. They were responding for the simplest of reasons. Someone had asked for help. Deathworlders unleashed, on the Celestial Harmony, Captain Celine Vale and her remaining bridge crew huddled behind makeshift barricades. The thunderous pounding against the sealed bridge doors told them their final moments might be approaching. How many escaped? Celine asked, her voice barely steady. Navigator Talon checked his datapad. 43 escape pods launched successfully. That's about half our personnel. Celine nodded grimly. The remaining crew members were either trapped by the raiders or had chosen to stay and fight, a futile gesture for the peace-loving Valari. The bridge doors groaned under repeated impacts, the metal beginning to buckle. Then suddenly the pounding stopped. In the uneasy silence that followed, the Valari exchanged nervous glances. "What are they?" Talon began, but was interrupted by a high-pitched whine. "Plasma cutter," warned the engineering officer. "They're cutting through." As a glowing line began to trace the door's perimeter, Celine stood tall despite her fear. "It has been an honor serving with all of you," she said softly. 4 light-years away, the human battle group dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a flash of distorted space. "Sensors, full sweep," Captain Chen ordered the moment the Relentless stabilized. "Find me that Valari ship." "Contact," reported the sensor officer. 3 unknown vessels surrounding a damaged ship at coordinates 045 by 223. "On screen," Chen commanded. The main display illuminated with the scene. A sleek, pale vessel, clearly damaged, surrounded by 3 angular, predatory-looking ships. Small craft moved between them. Boarding shuttles. "Life signs?" "Multiple readings from all ships, Captain. At least 2 distinct species based on biosignatures." Chen wasted no time. "Tactical, target the hostile vessel's engines and weapon systems. Communications broadcast on all frequencies. Standard first contact package followed by a demand for the attackers to stand down." Within seconds, the Relentless's message propagated across space. Mathematical sequences establishing basic communication, followed by a simple statement translated into multiple languages. "Attention unknown vessels. This is Captain Chen of the United Earthship Relentless. We are responding to a distress call from the vessel you are currently attacking. Cease hostilities immediately and withdraw your boarding parties. You have 30 seconds to comply." On the command deck of the lead Kryvax vessel, War Captain Drex stared at his communication screen in confusion. "Where did these ships come from?" he snarled. "Identify them." His tactical officer worked frantically. "Unknown configuration, War Captain. They don't match any species in our database." The officer hesitated, eyes widening as more data flowed in. "Their weapon systems. They're military-grade heavy armaments," Drex hissed in frustration. The Valari exploration vessel had been an easy target. These new arrivals were clearly something else entirely. Still, no one interfered with Kryvax hunting parties. "They're bluffing," he decided. "Prepare to fire on the lead ship. Show them who they're dealing with." Back on the Relentless, the 30-second window closed. "No response, Captain," reported the communications officer. "They're charging weapons." Chen nodded grimly. "They've made their choice. All ships, execute Battle Plan Delta. Cruiser targets the lead vessel. Destroyers take the flankers. Disabling fire only. I want prisoners. Who can answer questions?" The human battle group split with precision, moving faster than the Kryvax vessels could track. Before Drex could give the order to fire, the Relentless and Intrepid launched a synchronized barrage that struck his ship's main weapon emplacements with surgical accuracy. The Kryvax vessel rocked violently. Alarms blared across its bridge. "Weapons offline!" shouted Drex's tactical officer. "Shield generators damaged. How did they target so precisely?" Before Drex could respond, more impacts hammered his ship. The human vessels moved with unexpected agility, their targeting systems finding vulnerabilities the Kryvax had thought well protected. Within minutes, all 3 raider vessels had been neutralized, their propulsion and weapons rendered inoperable by the precise human attack. Inside the Celestial Harmony, the Kryvax boarding parties suddenly halted their assault on the bridge. Their communication devices buzzed with frantic orders from their disabled ships. Through the viewport, Celine and her crew watched in amazement as the Kryvax boarding shuttles hastily detached from their hull and retreated toward their mother ships. "What's happening?" Talon asked, hardly daring to hope. Communications Officer Vanel let out a sound of disbelief. Someone answered our call. "Look." On his screen, a grainy image showed the incredible scene outside. The 3 Kryvax ships, now damaged and drifting, surrounded by 5 vessels of unfamiliar design, sleek and powerful. "Who are they?" Celine whispered. "I don't know," Vanel admitted. "Their communication protocols don't match anything in our database." A message came through their damaged systems. "Valari vessel, this is Captain Chen of the United Earth ship. Relentless. The hostile ships have been neutralized. We're responding to your distress call. Do you require medical assistance or emergency evacuation?" "Earth?" Talon repeated, scientific curiosity momentarily overriding his fear. "I've never heard of it." Celine moved to the communication panel. With trembling fingers, she opened a channel. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Celine Vale of the Valari exploration ship Celestial Harmony. We thank you for your assistance. Yes, we have injured crew members and significant damage to our life support systems." There was a brief pause before the response came. "Understood, Captain Vale. We're sending medical teams and engineers to assist. Please prepare for boarding. Our personnel will arrive in environmental suits to avoid any biological concerns." From the Relentless, 4 shuttles launched, carrying medical teams, engineers, and marine escorts. Commander Tanaka stood in the lead shuttle, checking his team's gear one final time. His powered combat exoskeleton hummed quietly, adding 2 feet to his height and multiplying his strength tenfold. "Remember," he told his squad, "we're here to help. The Valari are reported to be peaceful. They've never seen humans before, so they might be frightened by our appearance. Keep your movements slow and non-threatening." The shuttle pilot's voice came over the intercom. "Approaching docking bay now, Commander. Scans show atmosphere is thin but breathable for humans. Multiple life signs detected. Helmets sealed until we assess the situation," Tanaka ordered. "Dr. Patel, your medical team stays behind us until we secure the entry point." As the shuttle maneuvered into the damaged docking bay of the Celestial Harmony, humans and Valari prepared for first contact. 2 species from vastly different worlds brought together by a distress call that had found its way to the most unlikely of recipients. The human shuttle docked with a gentle thud. Tanaka's squad formed up at the airlock, weapons ready but pointed down. The medical team waited behind them, equipment cases in hand. "Scans show multiple life signs ahead," Corporal Santos reported. "Some don't match Valari profiles." Tanaka nodded. "Kryvax stragglers. They might be trapped or deliberately staying behind." The airlock cycled open, revealing a dimly lit corridor. The Marines advanced with practiced efficiency, their powered armor making surprisingly little noise despite its bulk. They encountered the first Kryvax just 2 corridors in. 3 reptilian aliens attempting to break into what appeared to be a sealed compartment. "Freeze!" Tanaka called out, his suit's external speakers translating into a basic galactic trade language. "Drop your weapons." The Kryvax spun around, their yellow eyes widening at the sight of the armored humans. For a brief moment, they stood frozen, in shock, clearly not recognizing the species confronting them. Then one raised his weapon. Before the Kryvax could fire, Santos launched a non-lethal stun round. It struck the alien in the chest, releasing an electrical charge that dropped him instantly. The other 2 Kryvax immediately threw down their weapons, raising clawed hands in surrender. The Marines secured the remaining raiders while Tanaka moved to the sealed compartment. This is Commander Tanaka of the United Earthship Relentless. We've responded to your distress call and are here to help. Is anyone in there? After a moment's hesitation, the door slid partially open. 3 Valari peered out cautiously, their large eyes widening at the sight of the armored humans. You're the ones who answered our call? One asked, voice trembling. Tanaka retracted his helmet, revealing his human face. A gesture of trust. Yes, we're from Earth. We're here to help. Word spread quickly through the damaged vessel. More Valari emerged from hiding places, approaching the human rescue teams with a mixture of fear and wonder. The medical teams began tending to the injured, while engineering crews worked to stabilize the ship's failing systems. On the bridge, Captain Celine met Captain Chen face to face. I don't know how to thank you, Celine said, looking up at the much taller human. But I must ask, why did you come? We have no treaties, no alliance. Chen smiled slightly. Someone asked for help. Where I come from, that's reason enough. Celine studied the human captain with newfound curiosity. Our xenobiologists have catalogued thousands of species, but none quite like yours. Your physical capabilities, your technology, you moved with such precision against the Kryvax. We evolved on what you would call a death world, Chen explained. High gravity, extreme weather, numerous predators. It shaped us, made us stronger, faster, more aggressive than most species. Out here, that sometimes makes others afraid of us. Yet you use that strength to protect, not to conquer, Celine observed. Chen nodded. That's the choice humanity has made. We know what we're capable of, both the darkness and the light. We choose to be guardians, not conquerors. In the medical bay, Dr. Patel worked alongside Valari physicians exchanging knowledge as they treated the injured. In engineering, human technicians marveled at the elegant efficiency of Valari technology, while Valari engineers were astounded by the robust, redundant systems humans employed. The Kryvax prisoners were secured aboard the Relentless to be turned over to Galactic authorities. Their ships were disabled but left intact, a message to others who might prey on peaceful vessels. 2 days later, with the Celestial Harmony's critical systems restored, Captain Chen stood again on her bridge reviewing reports. Lieutenant Commander Wright approached, datapad in hand. Message from Earth Command, Captain. They're not entirely pleased we intervened without authorization, he reported. However, the Valari Collective has already sent diplomatic overtures. They're requesting formal relations with Earth. Chen smiled. Sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission, Commander. On her view screen, the Celestial Harmony moved alongside the human battle group, preparing for the journey to the nearest Valari outpost. You know, Wright mused, this incident will spread. The story of humans answering a distress call from a species we barely knew. Good, Chen replied. Let it spread. Let the galaxy know that humanity stands ready to help those in need, and that we will not tolerate predators who prey on the peaceful. As the fleet prepared to depart, messages continued to flow between the vessels, scientific data, cultural information, medical knowledge, and personal communications. The accidental distress call that had reached the wrong part of space had forged an unexpected connection between 2 vastly different species. The Valari had cried for aid, and Earth's Deathworlders had answered, not with conquest, but with protection. It was the beginning of what would become one of the most unlikely and powerful alliances the galaxy had ever known.